famous for being clean and non-controversial, which was something to say considering the past election. He is also keenly involved in education administration, since he is the visitors nominee on the board of Delhi University and the visitors nominee on court of Pondicherry University. He is a trustee of the South Asia Foundation and on the policy board of the Hindu newspaper. On a personal level, he is very closely associated with charitable and similar social upliftment works. He has been associated with Mother Teresa and her foundation in multiple ways. For example, he has come out with a book known as, 3 books in fact. One was known as Vocational Rehabilitation and Social Integration of Leprosy Affected in India, which was released by Mother Teresa herself. He also wrote, very importantly, the biography on Mother Teresa, which was translated into 14 languages, and the centenary edition was presented to the President of India in 2010. A bulk of the royalty from this book goes to the Missionaries of Charity, Kolkata. He has written a book, Faith and Compassion, The Life and Work of Mother Teresa, which is co-authored with Raghu Rai. He is also associated with 2 NGOs in Rajasthan and New Delhi, which are working for the underprivileged children. And he has been awarded the Mazzini Award by the Government of Italy and the Institution of Directors, New Delhi. With this brief but equally shining biodata, I request Shri Navin Chawla to please deliver the 31st TFI Memorial Lecture.
I was passing thanks for making it brief, otherwise you would have gone on and on. Dr. Ramdas Pai, Chancellor, Manipal University, Professor Natarajan, Dr. Balal, Srimati Pai, very happy to have met you. Dr. Balal, Dr. Ram Narayan, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Vinod Bhatt, Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Prabhu, the Registrar, and my esteemed friend, Mr. Hormis Tarakan. We were both at the Academy together. The TAPI Governing Council, the faculty, welcome to the press, and a huge thank you publicly to Mr. Somnath, who's been taking me around campus, and I've been seeing many things through his eyes. It's a great privilege, Dr. Ramdas, to have been invited today to deliver this 31st TFI Memorial Lecture. Privilege, of course, because there have been so many distinguished members of the community in India who have delivered this lecture in the past. So it's always an honor to follow in that tradition. And also because of the vision of this remarkable family that has put this center of excellence together, beginning so many long years ago in 1953, in fact, just after the first general election of 51 and 52, to take a piece of land which he believed should be used because it was non-agricultural, so there was no displacement, on complete laterite soil of no use to anybody, in the middle of a wilderness, and then to set up a management college, to set up the Kasturba Medical College. That's right. The management college, of course, came much later through Shri T.A. Pai. I used to see Shri T.A. Pai as a young man, as a magistrate in Delhi, as part of Indira Ji's cabinet. And we used to often wonder where he came from, because he was the first technocrat in a breed of politicians. And he moved from amazing portfolios to amazing portfolios where some kind of revolutionary hand was needed, whether it was the railways or it was industry. And so it is from that background and from your dedication and your father's that this wonderful university has come together. And I can't tell you how privileged all of you are not to listen to me. There'll be plenty of speakers in the past and there'll be speakers in the future, but privileged that you belong here. And as I went around today and Somnathji took me around, I thought to myself, how wonderful it would have been if I could have been a student here. Anyway, one can't have everything. So all I can say is that you are very lucky, and some of the groups I interacted with today, I asked them if you could all be given some election-related subjects as well, not just for the sake of learning about elections, but for the sake of contributing to some of the meaningful problems that have arisen in our democracy. And I hope that there could be answers there. And when I say this, I don't say this lightly, because even when I used to go around the country and address student audiences, maybe 100 of them all over the country, some of the best ideas, and which I was able to also implement, came from student bodies. So that is the strength of all of you. And I hope that, as you get these ideas, you put them down somewhere, and I'm sure it will be of use in days to come. This university would not be the university it is without such a dedicated faculty. A faculty, a staff, we've seen workers who put in 30 years and 20 years of dedicated service. And sometimes I get a feeling that those who come here, I don't know what your magic is, Dr. Ramdas, but I feel that some of the people who come here just stay here and contribute. And so therefore, whether it is the heads of department, the deans of colleges, the doctors, the scientists, the administrators, my congratulations to all of you, because all of you have contributed to shaping the minds, not just of this generation, but the previous ones and the ones that will follow. Today's subject is actually quite easy for me. Have we made a mockery of democracy? No, I don't think we made a mockery of democracy. Not everything is perfect, and I'll tell you why as we go along. But I do feel that my answer is no, we have not made a mockery of our democracy. I see our democracy also, Dr. Ramdas, as a work in progress. It's not a full stop here. We're proceeding. Every year and every time we're adding brick upon brick to strengthen this edifice. Can you imagine India in 1951? Literacy, this was the time that we had our first election, and literacy at that time was an appalling 16%, and female illiteracy, as you can imagine, was much higher. And yet our constitution fathers believed that we must have universal adult franchise. What a big decision. Even now, there are some countries that give franchise only even to graduates. The woman, the gender, that we consider to be the weaker gender, but which is absolutely incorrect, it's the other way around, was also given the vote. And you know that in England, in America, and others, how much the suffragettes had to fight in order to be able to get the vote. Even in a highly educated society, they had to fight, they had to go to jail, they had to go through indignities, even on the streets of London, before they got the vote. And in India, they got the vote. I take you for a moment through our positives, because it's always very easy to criticize. It's always very easy to bring down an institution. It's easy to demolish. But it's very difficult when you start to build. Ask Dr. Ramnath. Doctor, I would say that he would be working 12 hours a day? Every day? Is there a Sunday for you? I don't think so. Because a person like Dr. Ramdas has to continue to build this institution every waking hour. Because that's the way an institution like this cannot be built in any other way. It cannot grow in any other way. A vision has to go on continuously. it was that which took our founding fathers forward to give us the franchise, to give it to everybody, to hold an election in 1951 and 52, to give us a constitution in 1950. I come to the importance of a constitution because if you look around our neighborhood, not every country has still got a constitution. And we are part of the same clutch of countries that got independence at about the same time. I'll come to that in a moment, but I'll take you to the fact that we have since 1951 and 52 held every election on time each time. Each time there has been an orderly transfer of power. The loser has handed the baton to the winner each and every time. Election petitions have lied. They do lie. People have a right to go to court. But the verdict, if you would have noticed, has invariably been accepted. These are no small achievements. And I will take you through our neighborhood without mentioning any country. The press will kindly note that I am not mentioning a country. Not everyone has a constitution. Many have seen just brief interludes of democracy within large periods of military rule. Even where there is a government in place, an army or an intelligence agency looms over it. In some of the countries in our region, there have been the most wrenching of insurgencies. Some countries have yet to see the first light of democracy or a government, a democratically elected government in 30 years. In other cases, there have been monarchies. The monarchies' transitions to democracy have been difficult, and some are still in progress, and they are not easy. I have been to observe elections, so I'm able to see some of those countries closely. I went to one in our neighborhood recently, and I concluded, like every other observer did, that the institutions need a great deal of strengthening even now. And this also 65 years after their independence. So why are we forward? Partly it was our freedom movement. But they had freedom movements too against the same colonial ruler. But look at the wisdom of our leaders. Many of you in the hall have had grandfathers and great-grandfathers who have participated in a freedom movement, have been to jail, have struggled, and have seen a different India than you are seeing and that you have inherited. It's a very big inheritance and a very sacred inheritance, and you have to be very proud of it and you have to nurture it. It's not a gift out of nothing, because if you look into your neighborhood and your counterparts, many of them are not even allowed to be on Twitter or on Facebook because there's a ban there on the social media. You have complete freedom of expression. You can write, you can speak. But many of your neighborhoods and people in your own age group don't have that. I'm only pointing it out because I feel that we in India have been so blessed in so many ways. We had Mahatma Gandhi, who led our freedom struggle, and our freedom struggle was unique, and that is one of the huge positives that we had. We had the Maulana. We had Dr. Ambedkar, who gave us not just the constitution, he gave us equality. Neither the Mughal rule nor the British rule in those 500 years ever equalized our society. The most pernicious system, the caste system, divided India for thousands of years, and it took 1947 and our independence and our constitution and our laws against untouchability to wipe that blot, at least off the paper. We had reserved seats in parliament for the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes. These were the huge opportunities that our democracy gave us. But I will come to that too for a little while, just a little later. But these I was sketching to you as some of the positives and why, in my view, we have not made a mockery of democracy, although I have to say that, again, that we are still a work in progress. We are continuing, we have to continue to strengthen, and we have to continue to somehow eliminate or diminish the weaknesses that we find in our system, and to which, sir, you quite aptly and rightly referred in your opening remarks. Let me take you also now to what our election commission, which was constituted in 1950, but not on the 26th of January. Can you imagine its importance? On the 25th of January was the founding day of the Election Commission of India. And we are, and for the students of management, some of whom I had the privilege to address a little earlier, we are indisputably the largest management exercise in the world in the Election Commission. The figures are mind-boggling. The President Obamas of the world can't grasp it. 716 million voters, registered voters in 2009 will be 760 odd million registered voters this year. In 2009, when I conducted the election, we had